Hello again, and welcome back to the thrilling series of Levine Geometry. This is the 4.3 edition, Triangle Inequalities. Go ahead and write that, 4.3 Triangle Inequalities. And what you can see here is we have a bridge, and we're going to use this as a visual example to prove what I'm trying to say. Now, since none of you can even build shells, you for sure cannot build a bridge. Now, but one day after getting proficient in geometry and moving on to even harder maths, some of you might become civil or architectural engineers and build your own bridge. But for now, we can assume all of you are awful at building anything. But with a bridge, what you'll notice is that these never form a triangle. These drawbridges never form a triangle. The sides are not long enough because when they finally connect, it's a straight line. The bridge is a straight line that you drive over. But if the sides were longer, you could form that triangle and something appears in terms of the side lengths that we need to know. So after you've written 4.3 triangle inequalities, we're moving to the next slide, and this is the thing that I want you to know. Please write down triangle inequality conjecture. The sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. And so the bridge example, let's say we have the ground, okay? On the bridge, there is no ground. The bridge forms the ground. Let's say we have the ground. And then we have the two bridge sides. Now, if those bridge sides are not longer than the third side, so here we have first side, second side, third side. If the bridge sides, the blue, if the bridges don't connect, then if they're not longer than the third side, then what will happen? As these go down, they'll eventually meet right at a point, and they will never form a triangle because they form a line. But if these bridge sizes, the sides of the bridge, do add up to be bigger than the third side, if first plus second is bigger than third, then what you have is as these come down, they will meet somewhere, and they will form a triangle. I hope you can see that, because if they're not bigger than the third side when they come down, at most, they will meet, if they're equal to the third side, they'll meet at a point and form a straight line. If they're less than the third side, they will never meet. They will never hit. If they're bigger than the third side, they form a triangle. So the sum of the two lengths of any two sides of a triangle has to be greater than the third side. I want you to write that down. Pause if you need to write this down. I'm moving on. Then we have the side angle inequality conjecture. In a triangle, if one side is longer than another side, then the angle opposite the longer side is, and I put these little dots like it's this big giveaway, and yet it's already written, larger than the angle opposite the shorter side. I want you to write this, the side angle inequality conjecture, and write, in a triangle, if one side is longer than another side, then the angle opposite the longer side is larger than the angle of the opposite the shorter side. That's a lot of words, but it's very basic if you understand what opposite means. The word opposite is going to be huge here. You have to understand not just what it means, but how it applies to a triangle. So if I have side 5 right here, the angle opposite that will be B. The angle that does not touch. If you need to write that down, please do. Opposite angle is the angle that does not touch the side. So side 5 is from here to there. Well, look, C touches that, A touches that, but B does not touch that. So go ahead and pause this if you need to write any of this down, or I would like you to draw this picture so you can see it, and I want you to have the arrows that go along with the picture. So we have 5 goes to B right here. I erase B. I didn't want to. We have 5 goes to B, 8 goes to C, and A goes to 11, the side that does not touch. So A, if you have this as an example, write all this down. A is opposite of 11, B is opposite 5, C is opposite 8. Pause this, get all of this down, please. I'm moving on. And now so we show an example. Arrange the unknown measures from order from greatest to least. Do not write any of this down, just please listen. Don't fast forward me. Don't you dare even think about fast forwarding me. This is some important information, and you might miss a nice joke or the secret code in which I tell you to write something down. Like, please write pineapple kitty in the bottom left corner. pineapple, kitty in the bottom left corner. Arrange the unknown measures in order from greatest to least. So the unknown measures from greatest to least, that's these angles. We want to order them from greatest to least. Well, if 20 is our biggest side, the angle opposite that, B, is our greatest. If 18 is our next biggest, the angle opposite that, A, is our next biggest. And if 13 is our smallest, then C is our smallest. So BAC is from biggest, next smallest. Now we go over here, and we have these angles. Well, the first thing we do is need to find the missing angle. And the way we do that in a triangle that has 180 degrees, all triangles, subtract 61 and subtract 32. Okay, so that's 180 minus 93. So that's 87 degrees. We can write that in. And then we have to order the sides, A, B, and C from biggest. Well, 87 is the biggest angle, so B is the biggest side. 61 is the the middle one, so C is the middle one. And 32 is the smallest one, so A is the smallest one. I hope you see this. It's a very important piece of information. I'm going to move on if you want to look at this example a little bit longer. Pause the video. Now we move to this picture. I want you to draw this picture in your notes. It must be a scalene triangle. This is a very important picture. We have an exterior angle, an angle outside the triangle. We have adjacent interior inside the triangle, interior, and adjacent to the exterior, right next to the exterior. And then we have our remote interior angles, the ones that do not touch. They're remote. They're so far away. It's like a TV remote. If it's too far away, you're just watching whatever terrible show is on because you don't want to get up to grab the remote. Please draw this picture. Pause it if you need to finish drawing. And then write this conjecture. Triangle exterior angle conjecture. The measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the remote interior angles. So if we have a triangle and we extend this out, okay, this angle right here, A, is going to be equal to C and D. A equals C plus D. Because these are remote, C and D are remote interior angles, and A is equal to the sum of those. So A equals C plus D. So we look at some examples. We have here 142 equals 66 plus X for number 7. So we find X, we just subtract 66. Okay? Over here, for X, it's the same thing. 158 equals X plus, well, what's this going to be? You don't know. You don't have a value. But if this is X, if what I circled is X, then so is this because of these congruent symbols. They're both X because we know it's all about that base. It's all about that base. No trouble. You have two congruent sides, so the two angles are congruent. So if one is X, then the other is X. Which means 158 equals X plus X. Or 158 equals 2X. That's what X plus X is. If there's an apple plus an apple, you have 2 apples. If there's an X plus an X, you have 2X. You divide by 2. And that will get you what your X value is. Pause. Make sure you understand. I'm moving on. And then we have median and altitude. All I want you to do is write these definitions. I'm not even going to talk about them. You need to know what a median is and you know what an altitude is. We will talk about it later. I just want the definitions down for now. Oh, pause the video. So I'm moving on. And we have a proof. So go ahead and try this proof for extra credit. Pause this. This will be 10 points extra credit if it's right. Pause this and try it. And more extra credit. Prove that A plus C equals F equals X. Prove that A plus B equals X. Watch this. This is going to be amazing. I messed up. But look, oh my gosh, how is this happening? How is Levine doing this? It's crazy. Prove that A plus B equals X. That is the video. That is all the notes. Have a good night. I am going on my honeymoon. Enjoy your sub.